Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Comix Rant Mini. And I'm your host, Arvin Bautista. And welcome to the show. This channel is mainly about sharing my love for comic books and flipping through them. It's some of my favorite things to do. And I just want to share just how awesome they are. And in this episode, we're going to cover Man's Best. Number 1, published by Boom Studios, written by Pornsak, Pichetshote, and drawn by Jesse Lonergan and lettered by Jeff Powell. I actually have the first 2 issues of it, but we're just going to talk about the first one. I'll probably flip through the second one just for fun. But I also wanted to show off my awesome Jay Lee cover variant that I have. I'm a fan of Jay Lee's stuff. And I actually had my comic book store put this on my pull list. I'm trying to support my local store, and the monthly books are the way to go. I'm old, guys. I just kind of trade weight things, and I can't really keep up. So you can see like some of my book selections are kind of old and really old. And it's just, I just cannot be on the regular monthly pull list. But so I try my best and pick ones that I like. It's not the usual Superman, Batman stuff anymore. I love that stuff, but it's just, I like to support all these other ones. Oh, anyway, so what I did was I got this on my pull list, and it was the regular cover by Jesse Lonergan, which is also great. But while I was walking around the comic book store, I saw this on the stands, which is crazy to me. It's Jay Lee. It's like, how come nobody picked up the Jay Lee variant? Or maybe I got lucky and somebody opted not to pay for it. I don't know. And, you know, I love variant covers. If I can, I'll have the comic book store pull some of those. But I'm not like super hardcore where I'll be paying $10 for it. It's just, if it's an extra $1, maybe, if I really like it. But I like variants just because it's cool. It's comics, man. Variant covers are fun. This one by Jay Lee is awesome. I'm always surprised in how I like his rendering style, for one, but I'm surprised in how he can get away with not a lot to draw, but it's just the composition is always so good. It's so good. That's all he needs. And I know he can draw all sorts of crazy stuff, but he just draws what he needs, and it's just so striking. It really stands out with a lot of the covers that are out there nowadays. Let's get into the book. I'm done drooling over Jay Lee's work. Actually, I'm never done drooling over Jay Lee's work, but you know what I mean. So Man's Best, the pitch here is it's homeward bound in space with talking animals in mech suits and energy shields. It's great. I'm a big fan of Jesse Lonergan's stuff, and you can kind of see like a little, I guess his signature stuff is he has a lot of panels that he likes to play with and to pace his stories. And I think I did an episode where I covered Hedra, and he's done Planet Paradise. And I actually listened to a podcast between the writer, the artist, and the interviewer, and the running joke was that people usually don't think Jesse Lonergan, oops, sorry, I just knocked over my camera. People usually don't think Jesse Lonergan will work with anybody else. When you see his stuff, you think like, oh, he's this auteur genius that just works on his own things. He doesn't want to work with anybody else. And you know, Jesse Lonergan debunks all that, and he says he actually does want to work with other people, and he has. I read another book that he did with somebody else called Arca, and that was great. Graphic novel. And anything that Jesse Lonergan does, I'm usually gonna just pick it up. He's one of them. I always feel like such an old fogey. Like, you know, I look at old books and I'm like, oh man, I remember that guy's stuff, and it's so good, you know. And it's that like nostalgia thing that comes in with it too. But so I feel good looking at his stuff and going, I like that stuff. Hey, that's new stuff. That's a new guy. I like it. Him and I think I've seen work kind of similar to his, Dan McDade. I think he was around in the 90s. 2000s, sorry, 2000s. And it's like this looser style that I enjoy because I have such a hard time doing it myself. And his trademark is the way that he does storytelling. He paces things. He uses a lot of panels, but it actually to slow down and speed up things. And he'll play with how they're laid out. You know, on Hedra, he definitely goes bonkers on that kind of stuff. Here, he pulls it back a little bit, which is good because the target audience is a little younger, not necessarily your regular jaded comic book Wednesday warriors, 40-plus-year-old people, i.e. me. But I really love it. I really enjoy it. I love how spontaneous his artwork is. I love that he can get away with a lot of storytelling, where there's a lot more focus on storytelling and experimental storytelling, if anything. So anyway, the characters, their faces, they're always very distinct. And I like that about it. His pets and animals, they're very expressive. His tech, I love all that kind of stuff about his work. And in this case, they're off in space and they're trying to look for some place to colonize. And they all communicate with only each other. You know, they can't really talk to other people, even though they're talking to each other, which is great. Lonergan colors his own stuff, and I kind of like this. Very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Impressionistic? Expressionistic? Just the time period that Van Gogh was in, where it's kind of like not super smoothly rendered, and it works with his art. Well, he colors it, so, you know, there's something to be said about that. That's why it kind of just works together all in one go. And it's got a lot of character to it. Got a lot of motion. You know, these two dogs are fighting with each other. And it's a good touch. I like it. It's a nice touch to his stuff. I think Hedra was primarily in one color or monochromatic, and that looked good too. So, but it's nice that he makes his palette a lot bigger. Maybe because it's also trying to appeal to a younger audience, a slightly younger audience. And yeah, I've read through this and the second issue, and there's nothing like too crazy about it that I can't hand this to my 8-year-old and my 11-year-old. I find though my kids are like voracious readers on stuff like this, and I'm not sure they can handle the monthly pace of these books, right? Like waiting for it. I tried it, I think, with Chris Samnee's Jana, and you know, they read through so much stuff. I think they kind of not forget. It's just it goes on the back burner, right? The excitement kind of goes down after a month of waiting for this stuff when there's a billion other books there for you to read. Yeah, not quite like how I remember it when I was reading comics and waiting for it for a month. But there's some cool stuff that he does with his speed lines, the way he'll depict speed lines. It's also like this, it's not your usual thing. They're kind of like these omega beams coming out. Sorry, DC reference. And the design for his characters and tech is very cool. Very cool. And of course, Giant Rocket on a dog is also very cool. And there's a lot of action going on. You know, they are teaming up. And this is always something I kind of like that he does, where he will break through panels and use the gutter as part of the motion. But it also will relate panel to panel. He pulls it back. He definitely goes crazy in his independent stuff, but he pulls it back here a little bit. And then there's one right here where he's kind of looking. This robot head turns, and it's also breaking the panel. And it's nice. It's a nice touch. Subtle, but very cool. Let's look at the second one too, since we're already here. And more action. It's this fun opening splash of, Yeah, it is an opening splash. Even though he has these 3 panels here where this guy is overlapping it kind of controls the pace a little bit. It slows it down here, like almost like a slow open, and then this just blows up the 1-page splash. That's why it feels like that. It's got like a ease into the scene of craziness, right? Robots shooting at these talking pets with rockets and shields and mechs. And and I think I forgot to mention, they're named after 2 of the 3 musketeers, Porthos and Athos. And the other one is called Lovey, which is also fun. But, Lonergan controls pace with his sequentials here. And it is fun where, he can kind of depict this and then a moment after that and then some more to kind of like flood you with these robots within how he controls the information, right? It's kind of kinetic, hectic. There's like action, there's some words, action, and it's just like, it kind of helps you with the chaos, the read of the chaos. He controls it all, right? Because of the sheer number of panels, he can kind of have this rhythm, which is great. And so he does this thing again where he breaks or he brings the gutter in and then guides your eye to this movement. And it's a swoop. It's a cool swoop. It's almost like it's animated, but in sequential style, in comic book style, right? It's not just storyboard beats and storyboard panels. He will make it bleed through here to make this panel more important than these other 2. And, we got like some Kirby crackle dots going on. This book is just fun. It's fun. It's all ages, action, adventure. And here comes those robots again. And then they're smashing into this shield, right? And it's a cool break from the craziness, which is this, as it literally breaks on the dog's shield. And it's just fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Like nice compositions that breathe when he wants it to, and then he can kind of control it again. And it looks good. It looks like he will be able to pump these out pretty good on a monthly basis. So I'm looking forward to sticking with it and reading it. And there's some cool, sci-fi there. Here we go. There we go. This is Jesse Lonergan unleashed. He unleashes a little bit. And this is probably one of my favorite things that he does, where he kind of experiments with the medium. And these characters pop out of this door. They go into this door and they pop out into this world. And what he's depicting is that it's kind of like this crazy, disorienting shift of gravity. And he uses the panels, really, to make the action work. It's forcing you to read it differently. And even, the sideways lettering here and the slightly diagonal as it's slowly moving. Because even these trees are like in the diagonal, whereas this is completely pointed this way, right? Like it's kind of helping you to read this. Now this is, I think storytelling wise, you don't even need this, right? Because you can kind of get this here. But it's nice that it's there to kind of set the stage that, okay, this is normal, like quiet, serene. And he does it here too, because the next panel is just the establishing shot of the characters, and it's just quiet after all this craziness that just happened. And he'll have like smoke streaks and stuff to still denote motion, but I love how he uses panel borders to do it. And he can introduce all these crazy creatures. I loved his work in Planet Paradise, and I enjoyed it because it was like him unleashed. It seems like he can just bust these things out, these creature designs and all this weirdness. And I love how he will experiment with effects. Here we go. We got like a lot of these panels, his trademark panels kicking in. And again, he's using it to kind of bombard you with the amount of creatures that are attacking them. And I guess I'm going to spoil it for you. And the Lovey gets shot and looks like he gets gutted. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just wanted to show this last page because of the way that he's playing again with panel gutters, right? It's got this very cosmic, otherworldly feel because of the way this is being broken up now. The image is being broken up and he plays around with it. And these are cool, these geometric shapes that, you know, he comes up with as like an energy blast. It's like almost solid and I don't know what's going on, but it's just cool looking. The colors are fantastic, right? Like, this is the stuff that I just kind of enjoy about Lonergan's work. Anyway, I am totally hooked. This is Man's Best 1 and 2. I said I was going to do 1, but I can't help it. So you even see, like, in this cover, he breaks it down to his trademark stuff. Like, he really likes playing with panels and panel layout and the number of them versus the simplicity of the layout. In any case, this is Man's Best 1 and 2 from Pornsak, Pichetshote, and Jesse Lonergan, and I enjoyed it. I hope you liked looking through it with me, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Comix Rant.